Good afternoon, everyone. I have the wake up everyone slot. Unfortunately, I'll try my best. So when I decided this topic a few months back, I didn't realize that it'll become more relevant in this week after the United States of America decided that diversity, equity, inclusion topics will not be further discussed or initiated. And also, the topic that I have today is more around the prominent words that we've used today. I've seen a lot of my fellow professionals have used human touch, transformation, people. And that's what my topic is all about today. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Bhavna Matharu. I've been an HR professional for almost 20 years now. I worked in diverse geographies, industries. I'm originally from India, and I worked in India, Cambodia, Vietnam, and now working in Netherlands. And first time working in an international NGO, Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy. And it's an NGO that promotes democracy across the globe. And the favorite part about working in this organization is the diversity of colleagues that I have. It's part of our DNA, and we promote democracy. We have 35 colleagues and 15 different nationalities in the head office. And we have 15 country offices in Africa, Central South America, Middle East, and Asia. And it kind of really was like a hand-in-glove scenario. Happened by chance, not by design, that I joined this organization. But I grew up as a nomad, moving within my country every 2-3 years because of my father's job. And then because of my husband's work, I moved along, but I tried to explore as much as possible in terms of my personal and professional growth. And I have no regrets. It's been really an enriching experience for me. Coming to the topic that's NIMD, that's our strength. Diversity is part of our day-to-day life. We work with so many different nationalities, and all my colleagues really enjoy that. Today's short presentation, this is what we are going to navigate through. First, we're going to try to understand and appreciate diversity, the importance and challenges that come along, and the different strategies that we can use to kind of manage different challenges that we face. And there is a case study at the end of it. I'm using a very, very typical model, the iceberg model. And even though it's a cliche, but it really kind of emphasizes the different layers, because most of the time we see only the superficial layer. We see the gender, we see the generation, we see ethnicity. But then there is so much more that basically conditioned us to be who we are and how we interact with each other. There is educational background, there is family status, there is the language we speak, which is, defines the secondary layer, which is based on our self-esteem, how we conduct ourselves. And then there's the tertiary layer, which is more like the functional layer, where you are in the management role, what are the historical moments that defined your group of people, and all that also influences us and makes us respond in a certain way that we are responding as a group. I just want to ask the audience, what do you see over here? Yes, library, yeah, books. That's right. And this is my favorite analogy of diversity. I think diversity is like a library. And people are like books. We come in all shapes and sizes, colors, different covers. Some have more words, some have more expressions. So some books have more pictures, some books have more text. And that's what makes us very different. And also that's why knowledge that we bring on the table is very diverse because of our experiences. And at the end of this, I would say that go home and think about what kind of book you want to be. Do you want to be a fiction? Do you want to be a suspense thriller? Do you want to be more about facts? Just think about that and, give it a deeper thought. Given a scenario, what if there is a possibility that in a library there is just one kind of book, and we have several copies of the same book, and the good thing about this is that you have multiple copies. If you lose the book, then there's always a spare one. There's the same formula of solving the problems. There is easy answers because you don't have to really think about. But then the difficult part is that there is no growth happening. There are no new experiences being shared, and that is exactly what diversity brings. What I bring on the table or what you bring on the table in a group when we are working together, I think that kind of brings in thoughts which are out of the box. And that unleashes the potential of any group working for an organization, for any group that is dealing with competition. It is very, very important that you start thinking in a very, very open mind space methodology for you to be able to win in the larger context of things. Going deeper into diversity, I think all of us understand that when we have a varied group of people, what comes on the table is it leads to a strong employer branding, a good corporate image. We've seen good growth trajectory happening. There's strong trust that can be built, provided we build that environment of collaboration. There's a huge possibility of creativity and innovation because there are so many ideas churning with this thought. There are lots of challenges, and while I would say all my colleagues are very passionate, but on a regular basis, there are challenges that we face in our organization as well, because everyone thinks differently. But then there are strategies to conquer these challenges. There are people who culturally misunderstand. There are communication issues because one gesture in one part of the world might be positive, but in the other part of the world can be perceived as a negative gesture. Body languages can be misunderstood. There will be resistance to change. There will be unconscious bias, which will be misinterpreted in a very deeper sense and leads to discrimination. And most importantly, leadership has to sign up for having a diverse group on the table and making them collaborate in such a way where there's acceptance from everyone. Strategies, this is pretty much my last slide, and then we move into a quick case study. How do we conquer all the challenges? And this is an ongoing process, but it's pretty much around the life cycle of an employment journey, I would say, right from recruitment to make sure that there are no biases and you have a diverse talent pool. Then there are trainings, more specifically leadership grooming, I would say, and not restricted to top leadership, but leadership of teams or project leaders that really need to include everyone in such a way that diverse perspectives are accepted on the table. Policies and regulations, the rotating holiday is something that we've recently implemented in our organization because not everyone celebrates the standard festivals and everyone has their own festivals to celebrate. In larger organizations, you can have employee resource groups so that there is a safe space also created to discuss certain topics. Cross-cultural teams, this can be mindfully done by project leaders or leaders, that you create a diverse group and then try to promote that open communication and, most importantly, celebrate diversity. And I would really like to point out active listening over here. While we are growing up as children in schools, in universities, there's a lot of emphasis given on how to debate, but nobody trains us on how to actively listen and contribute only at the right time. And this is something which really can be a big tool, especially in diversity, because everybody wants to be heard, irrespective of where you're from. That's the last slide of my presentation, and quickly go into the case study. So we'll just give you a quick run of a sheet, and there are some aspects peculiar in a multicultural environment that is listed over there. And you have a number on your table. So by the number, just pick up the challenge that is being faced by the organization. And in about 7 minutes, we can discuss the strategies that your table decided to build on. All right, yeah. How about one person from each table? Maybe you can start sharing your responses. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Any solutions? Number 5, right? That's work-life balance expectation. Yes. Yeah.
Is it working? Yeah, we had a discussion on work-life balance, and there was a discussion that it differs a lot between countries, what is also regulated and what's not. So there is countries that prohibit people after hours to contact them, but we sort of also discussed that first have a discussion on with your team on the necessity of contacting each other on after hours. And what everyone thinks of that and appreciates that. And maybe just make an agreement with you and the team, but also in management, be very aware that if you send a mail, that it puts pressure on people, and try to avoid that.
Sure, yeah. I mean, in Asia, I come from Asia, so I know the boundaries are a bit blur, sure. Definitely, if you compare it to rest of the world. But yeah, that's a good idea to have a expectation kind of aligned with everyone, yeah. Which table is next? Yeah. Okay. Question number 1.
What was question number 1?
Varied approach to hierarchy.
Yeah. So yeah, the hierarchy. Look, I mean, it's easier. It's easier for Dutch and Scandinavians, non-hierarchicals, to adjust a little bit to the hierarchy, right? But you need to be very conscious about that. You can't assume everybody's the same. Actually, it's sort of the reason why Scandinavia and Holland are good at trading, because it's easier to adjust from lower hierarchy to higher hierarchy and to navigate that hierarchy. But you need to involve the people in the hierarchical side, because you need to get their buy-in and you need to understand the hierarchy. And you do need to get them very comfortable with talking more directly as well, because if you leave them in the hierarchy, you're still not going to have good communication, right? And so the trick with there is really, it comes down to people, these people. It's all about building in then trust. Trust gets built through transparency, right? Be honest, be transparent. And really you need to ask them also to help you navigate their hierarchy. And that also, you ask them to invite you in, right? And that is a good way of doing it, at least from experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think coaching is very, very critical in this, because a lot of times leadership, especially, you know, it's across different continents. If leadership is moving, then they're not aware. And sometimes initially it comes as a rude shock that, oh, this is too direct, or this is, you know, just, I can't navigate. It's too indirect, or this is really what is being said is not understood. So yeah, that's right. Yeah. Kind of coaching and discussions around the topic is important. Who's the next table? Any volunteers? Number 4.
Okay, so
food and social practices.
Yeah. So we had a discussion around ensuring that everybody's needs are catered for in terms of dietary requirements, because it could be for lots of different reasons, such as religious reasons, or maybe people have different tastes, might be vegan or vegetarian and so on. So it's meeting lots of different needs by ensuring that there is a variety of foods. And, you know, they can be asked when people are coming to an event, have you any specific dietary requirements? But I think if we're working in a diverse workforce, that we should automatically take it, that there will be diverse needs. I think we should be aware of that now in this day and age. And state that we will be providing, vegan foods, vegetarian meat dishes as well to cater for everybody. But that if anyone has any specific dietary requirements after that, to let you know. So I think it's just trying to be more proactive around it to avoid awkward situations arising and ensure that there's guidance in your organisation because some might be a bit more, I suppose, open or aware as to the different needs and the impact that can have. Because I think even at a conference or anything, one of the things that people actually walk away and say is they remember the food wasn't good. That's right. So people can be upset if they feel that they've been excluded.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. From number 3 or number 2?
We have to.
Oh, really? Okay.
You're super late.
Okay, sorry. Thank you for listening and participating. I'm really sorry. Maybe we can discuss it after the, yeah.